Alright guys, finish my total force holder. This is going to be part 4 of our foundation series. Part 1 was an introduction. Part 2, basic body positioning for combatives and footwork. And part 3, hand-to-hand striking. Striking with the hands. Alright, excluding the elbows, anything like that, that comes later. This one we're going to cover kicks and knee strikes because they work very similar. Again, just like a punching, when you throw a kick, it comes right back. Okay? Doesn't necessarily mean you put it back where it started from, just means you get it out of the way. With kicking, any much higher than the floating ribs, and I think you're wasting your time, at least for a self-defense perspective. One, it takes a great deal of flexibility to put your foot up higher than that. I'm not 16 anymore. My foot doesn't go but so high. Yours may be the same. If you can kick someone in the head, that's great, but understand you're putting yourself off balance and giving them a huge lever that they can use against you, being your foot up there, especially if it gets caught. So it's high reward. Kick someone in the head, they're going to feel it badly. It's going to hurt. And kick someone up here in the ribs, they're probably going to break. Nothing against that. But understand, it's also very high risk. So I try to keep kicking techniques from the abdomen down. First one we're going to talk about is a snapping type of front kick. There are two types of front kicks, a snapping and a thrusting. The difference is the hip action. Okay? If I'm throwing a snapping kick, my hips just unlock and let the kick come through. If I'm throwing a thrusting kick, my hips are going to push forward and thrust in. All right? So we're going to start with the snapping kick. Ideal target area is the groin. In this instance, catch it coming up. There are all kinds of articles and martial arts mess on foot positioning, and that's great, and I get that. When you're wearing mat shoes like I'm wearing right now, or barefooted, that makes sense. But when you have to look at reality. When we're out in the parking lot, unless you're going to a martial arts class, you're probably not wearing mat shoes. With me bouncing, I'm wearing very heavy duty boots. So if I hit something with my toe barefooted, I'll break my toe. If I hit something with my toe with my duty boots, that's that composite safety toe going in. And if it's my normal boots that I wear every day, that's a steel toe that's hitting. So that's just kind of, all right, cool. Works when you're barefoot, and doesn't really apply when you have shoes on. Now, you may want to hit with your heel, and we'll talk about how to do that on the thrusting front kick in a minute. But for the snapping front kick, I'm looking to hit with the toe. Now, I am going to be pulling my toes back when I kick my heavy bags right here, just because, again, I am in mat shoes, and I don't want to break my toes. It's not a fun experience. Been there, done that. So what we're going to do is we take our basic posture, right? We've already talked about this. I'm going to bring whatever leg, and I'm going to use my back leg for right now just because it's easier for you to see in the camera. I'm going to bring it up in front of my body. When it gets about on line with where I want to hit, I'm going to just let the knee keep extending. And then it comes right back. Right? Notice how I just pulled the leg back. Okay? With the back leg, snapping front kick. Right now I'm a little close. Snapping front kick. Front leg, snapping front kick. It's just snapping out. Think of it like a jab. It works well to the groin. It works well to the knee. Especially works well if you're going to follow it with some hand techniques going up a little higher to get the person you're hitting's mind down here. Downstairs when you want to hit them upstairs. If I'm worried about you hitting me upstairs, I'm covering this up. If I'm worried about you hitting downstairs, my hands might be a little lower. So if I want to hit you up here, I make you think about down here. If I want to hit you down here, I make you think about up here. Works the same way. Now with a thrusting kick, when I pick my knee up, I'm going to push my hips forward as I extend through. So without extending my leg, keep from falling and hurting myself, as entertaining as that might be for y'all, I got a kerosene heater right here because it's cold in this shop, and I really don't want to fall on it. Plus this cement floor, and I don't bounce like I used to. So I'm going to pick this knee up and drive my hip forward, just like I'm throwing a knee strike, which we'll get into towards the end of this video. At the same time, my leg is extending. This gives me a kick with a great deal of range. Notice I'm well outside arm's reach from that back. But with a thrusting type of front kick, I can still hit it pretty hard. Where does this kick work well? The thrusting type. Into the hip, because it pushes the hips back, slows forward motion, and it can help work to get somebody off of you. Maybe if you're going to deploy a weapon of some kind, all right, and they're coming in, pull that weapon tight, especially if it's firearm. And this one is loaded. Okay, if I bring this back, notice my muzzle is pointing still straight at my target. Okay, maybe I've drawn here. I'm going to orient my muzzle at an off angle so it's not going to cover my head or my foot. There's the stop kick, and now I can start working that trigger. Delivered into the hip, it stops forward motion very well. Delivering into the breadbasket, it can knock the wind out of them. And again, you'll get this motion. Delivered into the knee, driving in with the heel. You can cause some serious damage that way. There's another type of kick that I like a little bit better for that, but if this is all you can pull off, it might work. Delivering it into the thigh to cause the knee to lock. You can do that as well. Thrusting front kick is a very useful technique when you use it in the right application. If you're a little bit more flexible and you can get them up here on the sternum, especially if you've got your back against the wall, you can make that work out for you pretty well too. So a snapping front kick is a distraction, a thrusting front kick is a power shot. And you can do either one with your front or back leg. I like snapping front kicks with my front leg and thrusting front kicks with my rear. Notice, you'll see a little bit of footwork here. The step up. My back foot just steps up, just about even with my front, to get me a little bit more motion. You can always do that. And when we start working on some other kicks here in a few minutes, you'll see that frequently. So those are our front kicks, both thrusting and snapping. And again, I've got my trusty Google Docs right here. I thought I had it up, but I guess I don't. Ah! Nope, wrong one. Pretty sure y'all don't want me reading my Instagram friends shit to you. So, the next one we're going to work on, after the thrusting and the snapping front kick, is a side kick. The side kick works best when you're perpendicular to your target. When you're facing this way, they're facing this way. Doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because you can easily deliver a side kick into the side of the knee when you're at off angles, and that knee is probably going to break. I mean, it's going to go, if your knee normally bends this way, right? It's probably going to bend this way. Not very fun for the person you hit. But conversely, if you're the one protecting yourself from them, very, very effective for you. It works really well when delivered into the gut area, again, especially when you drive your heel into it. Now just make sure I hit on my talking point. Okay, I know how to explain it. I've been explaining that kick for 20 years. All right. Now there are 3 ways you can deliver a side kick. You can step up, like we were just talking about earlier. You can do it as a pivot kick, and I'm going to switch feet, because if I do it with that foot, all you're going to do is get a very good look at my ass, because I'll turn my back to you here. So what we're going to do is that back leg can come up and around. Or we can always, same thing, do it as a turning or spinning kick. Again, I don't really like spinning kicks. Here's how I see that being useful. I'm over here, I'm talking to this guy, his homeboy comes up behind me. Okay? It's the same general concept, just without a step. Now, here's how the kick is applied. And for the sake of the video, and I will walk you through how to do a pivot and a turning side kick as well, so just hold your horses. What we're going to do, now this kick covers a tremendous amount of distance, especially if you do it with a step up, which we're going to do. So I'm going to get over here almost all the way out of frame, and I am probably a good 8-9 feet away from that bag. Now understand, when I'm in my basic combat posture, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push my front heel forward. What that does is that turns my front foot perpendicular to what I'm doing. As I do that, my back foot catches up to it. Okay? Turning in, back foot catches up. All right? Turning in, back foot catches up. You see how much distance I've just covered there? I turn in, back foot catches up. And that back foot points directly away from what I'm trying to hit. Step in, back foot catches up. Notice the alignment of my hips. Now, this leg is going to come up and slightly back, almost to the front of me. Same thing, up, here's my leg. I push it straight out and come straight back. Now, I like to follow this kick with a good back fist. Gives them something to think about, okay? And if they're worried about stopping my fist from hitting them in the face, they're not worried about grabbing my leg. So, to talk about the distance, when you put a little up into what you're doing here, and I'm going to get just about out of frame, step up, okay? One more time. Foot turns, step up. Notice my feet don't cross. They come close to touching, but they do not cross. All right? There are places I'll tell you to step across or step behind. We've already established I don't like crossing your feet. So I like just simply step up. Here's your footwork. I'm facing you. There's my footwork. And I think I just threw a rock out of my shoe. Got my laptop there. So there's your step up side kick. Foot turn, step up, leg up, leg out, leg back. Give them something to think about. Now on your pivot side kick, doesn't cover quite as much range. What I've got to do is I've got to pick this knee up and back. The way I do that is once my knee comes off the ground, I drive that heel that's on the ground towards the target. I'm just driving that in. And from there, we just send it. Okay? Pretty simple. Your hips are going to hate you if you do that one a lot. I'm not as big a fan of that as the step up. And there's a stationary version that I will show you directly as well. With a turning type of kick, what we're going to do, okay, and we're going to start, he's behind me. If I have a guy behind me, I'm going to use my front leg, which for this is my right leg, just because if I use my left, you're not going to see much of what I'm doing. My front leg, my back foot's already facing the way it needs to be. I'm going to pick this leg up here, and I'm going to throw my hips around here. Okay? We're talking, I hear your body, boom. Pretty simple. I don't like turning to kick somebody if I can avoid it, unless he's coming up behind me. And then I need to turn to engage him. So, what about a standing or static kick? That's used up close, okay? We've got my nifty 150-pound heavy bag here. Let me give that just a few more degrees that way so you can see a little bit more what I'm doing. Maybe I'm in tight beside him, okay? Maybe I'm trying to wrestle this guy on the bar or something. He goes crazy. I pick my knee up along an angle and drive in. Ideal target there would be the knee, peroneal nerve, preferably the knee at that point. They're probably not going to walk right for a while. So it is what it is. That's your side kick. I really like side kicks. When I was big into Taekwondo, one of my favorite things in the world to hit people with was a front leg side kick in the chin. But I'm not that flexible anymore. Getting old ain't for pussies, that's for sure. So, and I'm certainly getting old. I just turned 30 in September. So, next one we're going to do with this round kick. You can do this either leg, front or rear, depending on what I'm trying to hit. You can deliver this with the toe, or you can deliver this with the shin. If you're looking to kick the legs, like the peroneal nerve, use the shin. If you're looking to hit like the inside, the femoral nerve, use the toe. Where else does this work? The solar plexus, just under your diaphragm up here, just underneath your sternum. Works right there. It's kind of a high-risk technique, but if you can pull it off, more power to you. If you can get the shin pulled off to the side of the neck, that works really well. It's kind of hard to hit with the toe, but it can be done. I've done it. But then again, I've been doing this for a very long time. And it's not something I would do today. But it can be done. I like the shin if I'm going to go up here, or at least I would if I was that flexible. If you're that flexible, I recommend using the shin. Anyway, you can use the toe to the femoral nerve. You can use the toe to the groin. You can use the toe into the front joint of the hip for the same reason you might use a thrusting front kick there. And you can use it to the body. If you come off to the side, a round kick to the kidney tends to get a pretty good lesson across. But if you have your elbows in tight, this can stop your round kick pretty damn quick, which is another reason why we do that. So with the round kick, okay, I'm going to do this facing the camera instead of the bag. If we're going to use the back leg, which a lot of people do, because it is easier, I'm going to pick my knee up, and just like on the side kick, that foot that's on the ground, I'm going to throw the heel forward. By throwing that heel forward, what it does is it turns my hips. So as this leg comes up, I turn my hip. And then it's essentially, at that point, a front kick turned sideways. Just like that. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can pivot, like I was just doing there. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. Or you can step in. When I step, I go ahead and pre-pivot that foot. Now, this leg comes up and comes almost in an arcing motion like a whip. But it's the same kick. It's the same kick, okay? That is how you would deliver it almost at a downward angle into the thigh. Round kicks are pretty simple. They're pretty effective, but they take some practice. So, again, with that pivoting round kick, back leg comes up. Heel goes forward to turn my hips. At that point, I straighten my leg and retract it. Just like so. My foot is at all times parallel to the deck. At all times parallel to the deck. Now, if you're throwing a kick to the leg, if this is your foot, you're going to want just a little downward angle on it because that's the way it's going. It is what it is. Doesn't work as well when you come straight into it. Legs work chopping them like an axe. So, understand those differences. Make the round kick work for you. Next one. The back kick. This is a very close quarters type of kick, and I'm going to use the bag here. Gotta give you a few degrees of azimuth on this one. Alright, we're in here. I've got somebody behind me. I'm going to pick my foot up in front of me and drive it straight to the rear. Think of kicking like a mule. Alright, so again, you're not worried about the back this time. Foot comes up, foot comes back. Kind of similar in body mechanics to a side kick, except the toes of the foot are pointing down at the deck. Also, with a side kick, your foot's parallel with the deck, just like a round kick. So, next one. Back kick's pretty simple. Kick like a mule. I shouldn't have to explain more. Ideal targeting. Pelvis, groin, shin, knee. Pretty much just a front kick in reverse. We already covered the turning side kick. I'm not even going to worry about that. The stomp. It's pretty simple. I shouldn't have to tell you to stomp. All right, you pick the leg up, drive the heel down. Pick the leg up, drive the heel down. I don't have to tell you the best part, that's the foot. Unless you have a grounded opponent, then you better be worried about some use of force issues there. Because if you start stomping on someone when they're on the ground, it's not going to be pretty when the law shows up unless you have very, very, very good justification. So, the reaping stomp works very similar to a stomp, except I'm not striking on anything with my heel. What I'm doing is I'm making contact with the back of my calf. Okay, I'm going to turn this over here pretty good ways. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm in here in this clenching area. Okay, I'm bringing my foot up like I'm going to stomp. I'm turning it in and I'm reaping with that stomp. Where that works is when I have my hip in even, this will ride over it. Now, this is a 150-pound heavy bag hanging from my ceiling, so I'm not trying to get too crazy with it, namely because I really don't feel like rehanging it. But when you have somebody over there, that's how you get these very big, very dynamic hip throws. The hip throw works, but you add that little bit of a reaping stomp into it, and you're looking for this part of your calf, upper part of your calf, to meet it theirs. Or at the end of it, you want this part of your calf against their Achilles tendon. So you want to start just above your Achilles and drive down and back. And that almost acts like a ramp for their leg. And you're not doing it gently. You're stomping it, which is how you get that easier throw. The next one, why did that feel the need to close my document? My phone is being retarded. There we go. So, all right, we got the reaping stomp. We got 3 more to go. First one that we're going to work with is the scoop kick. It's called scoop kick because you're acting basically like an ice cream scoop or a snow shovel or something to that effect. Low line kick, I like using this at the knee and below, or just the center of the thigh and below. What I'm doing is my knee's coming up like a front kick, but I'm going to let my foot swing forward. And I'm going to make contact. If this is the curve of my foot, my toes are up here and my heels are down here. This is what's going to make contact. And I hope I'm flexible enough to show this to you. Because this is going to come up here, here. And now, once I make that contact, I'm going to push down and in. It looks kind of awkward, but it's really not. Especially, now you're not using this up here. You're using this to the leg area. So, when you're dealing with something that's reasonably pliable or easily broken like a leg and a knee, this works a little bit better. Now, you're not going to pull this off end of the body or anything like that. The pelvis is about as high as I'd go. All right, but this is, you're just sitting there, you're just trying to get that buckle to stop that forward movement. And again, from there, I mean, I'd be looking at doing something along the way. I mean, this might be, my scoop kick might be setting me up for that chin jab we talked about in the hand strikes. And I've got two more. One of them, I'm going to go ahead and show you the last one first, just because I don't feel like moving the computer game. If we have a grounded opponent and we need to continue to use force and a stomp's not enough, you pick your knee up here and drop it on them. Okay? Or you could drop down almost like you're going to do a lunge and just finish the last few inches, letting gravity do the work. Works really well on ribs, but you have to be careful because if you break a floating rib at that point, it can go into the lung, and that's no bueno, or at least not for the person you're doing it to, and it may be no bueno for you. If you're a law enforcement officer and SOP calls for you putting your knee in someone's back, they're being crazy, that's a good way to do it. But you do have to be careful because you are dropping your body weight on them, so there is a greater potential for injury than there would be under other circumstances. The last one that I'm going to cover on this video, and I'm doing this because I love them, is the knee strike. A lot of people do knee strikes wrong. Knee strike is not just raising your knee. Can it be? Sure. If I grab your head and pull it down while my knee comes up, yeah, sure, works pretty well. If you're down here low, all right, let's say we're in a clinch, and I've got my head over yours, sure, I can make that work. But ideally, when I'm using a knee, I want to penetrate in like throwing a punch. So imagine a thrusting front kick without extending your leg. Now, I can't reach this with my knee. You all see that daylight. If I thrust my hip forward, and my foot's not going to move, I'm going to go ahead and let this come to a stop. When my hip comes forward, I'm in my normal combative posture, right? When my hip comes forward, I get a lot more range. Same thing. Vertical, or snapping, penetrating, or thrusting. All right, knees work really well in close quarters, and they are a kick. You're just not extending your leg. So, again, I hope this was informative, and I'll have some more stuff put out for you here shortly.